There's the block or tablet. That'll be grand.
Okay. Okay. Hi. Hello. Attention to the head steward here. The head steward. Report to the stage, please. Here. It's not a stage match, also as urgent. One, two, two.
Okay, right. Chris is coming through here on the test page.
One, two, one, two, one.
Worry about that later, though. I'm not going to have to.
One, two.
Test page. See, he's coming through. He's getting a lot of audio in. That's the faded down at the moment, just got feedback chances and stuff. I've been asking for weeks since after the fucking Inverness. Should be your day. And getting on. There's Scotland, Sky, and there's Test. No other options. It's like, why not? Just give it up. He has to give us permission to do this, right? Come on, man. Andrew's not well set. Get it through. You can come off, that's fine. You can pick it up a little
your money, it is the Tories, the current regime, which steal your money, your resources, and if you want to protect your children, your future, then join the march. It is not only about your future and current future, it is about your future, your children, your future generations. Come and join us. Enjoy the day and feel the different experience. Join us.
Refugees are welcome here! Refugees are welcome here!
Labour leader there. Why not?
By any chance?
I'm going to take a shortcut because it's quite a distance back to the front of the march. So if I use a little snicket alley, hopefully I should get back to the beginning. Oops, well, I'm not going to get to the beginning that way, so keep on going down. I know that eventually they're going to turn left back towards Freedom Square, George Square, but not for quite a while yet, I don't think. This'll do.
Refugees are welcome here. Refugees are welcome here. See it loud, see it clear. Refugees are welcome here.
What have you think of Scottish indie? Sturgeon and everything in the area. It's really it just opens up the whole question of Scottish politics. So I think with the discuss the way forward.
This is Argyle Street and the Hielanmen's umbrella, the bridge under Central Station up there. And the Senior Centre, Buchanan Street. So still very, very central.
Come on guys, make some noise, make noise! Come on! Glasgow can do better than this, make some huge noise! Don't believe the Tories are liars, corrupt, totally bankrupt. They destroy your economy.
Refugees are welcome here!
The fucking lot.
Keep it going!
Refugees are welcome here.
Say it loud, say it clear.
Refugees are welcome here.
Refugees are welcome here. Refugees are welcome here. Refugees are welcome here. Refugees are welcome here. Refugees are welcome here. Stop deportation. Stop deportation.
Yeah. But it can be done.
Refugees are welcome here.
Say it loud, say it clear.
Refugees are welcome here.
Say it loud, say it
Welcome here. Refugees are welcome here. Refugees are welcome here.
Normally, whatever protests or information sharing that the left wing and anti-racism, Scottish independence, etc. is all left wing. Normally, there's counter protests from the right wing. I fully expected the right wing element to turn up to this today. It seems even they don't want to defend the Tory party's mental racism bills. I have no idea what has happened with the camera. I'm going to stop and come back on again.
Kenny things.
Yeah.
stand up. camera. It's a selfie camera it's using. It's not using the back camera. I need to swap, and I don't know the app well enough to see. That was a good turnout, yeah?
Fantastic turnout. Where are you from?
Middlesbrough.
Middlesbrough.
Oh, from Glasgow. I was born in Middlesbrough. I was born in Middlesbrough.
Oh, right. Right, I'm from Huddersfield. Don't tell anyone.
Don't. Assassinate, yeah?
I don't know.
I know. Tell your beer. That was a good turnout.
Fantastic. Really good turnout.
Okay. Hello, Glasgow. It's my great delight to welcome you all to George Square today for March 18 Resist Racism. My name is Talat Ahmed, and I'm convener of Stand Up to Racism Scotland and also co-chair of the Scottish TUC's Class Workers Committee, and it is my great pleasure to welcome you here and to be part of this demonstration with all of us united in our hatred of racism and the Tories. Out of all the chanting and the slogans today, the most popular, the loudest, the most common was "Say it loud, say it clear, refugees welcome here." And that is not surprising, given the horror of the world that we live in terms of what Tory policies are trying to do to make it impossible and illegal for anybody to come here. When the Tories tell us that there are illegal refugees, we turn around and say no one is illegal, the only illegality are immoral governments. Okay, without further ado, I'm going to start introducing a series of speakers that I am pleased to say I am jointly comparing with my comrade Hina Aksu, who you'll be hearing from a little bit later on. But before I introduce the first speaker, I just want everyone to put their hands together and a big roar of cheer and gratitude to Shiboom for a wonderful music accompaniment. Okay, so our first speaker today, this demonstration is being hosted by Stand Up to Racism. It gives me great pleasure to welcome Ruby Hirsch for Stand Up to Racism. Ruby.
No human being is illegal. Every person on this earth has the right to a home, a right to learn, a right to work, a right to live and express themselves. This is the undisputable truth that every one of us here today and every person who's marching up and down the country and across the world today, that we're going to keep on saying loud and clear. Despite this government trying to spread the nasty and filthy idea that some people are illegal and criminal simply because they've been forced to leave their homes and migrate. Whatever your reason for coming to this country, you have a right to seek asylum. Migration is not a crime. Refugees are welcome here. A few days ago, a man called Gary Lineker tweeted his support for refugees and said that the language that this government is using around refugees was not dissimilar to that in Germany in the 1930s. And we all know he was suspended by the BBC, but solidarity and a public outpouring of support has seen him reinstated. But all they have done is expose once again that the people of this country stand with refugees, we stand behind Gary and against this vile racist government. Because Gary was right. When they talk about refugees as a swarm or a flood, they are intentionally dehumanising. When they talk about sending refugees before they have a chance to be heard or processed to a far-off country to be detained, well, yes, Gary Lineker is right. The Nazi Party in Germany in the 30s had a plan called the Madagascar Plan. They wanted to ship Jewish people away to Madagascar. And now we have the Rwanda Plan, where undesirable people, those deemed less than worthy, those people that are dehumanised, are to be shipped away to offshore detention. This is reminiscent of 1930s Germany, and we will not stop saying that just because this government wants to scare us into shutting up. Stop Rwanda! We've already forced the government into a U-turn on this issue countless times over their horrifically cruel Rwanda plan, but they're not giving it up. I think we can make it the final nail in the coffin of this government. The trade unions have been leading the way in the fight for refugee rights, particularly over the Stop Rwanda campaign. And so it's brilliant to see so many union flags and banners here today representing fighting workers from across society. Teachers, cleaners, firefighters, hostess, lecturers, nurses, bus drivers, train drivers, everybody from across society coming together to say no to racism. This government is attacking our standard of living. They're attacking our pay and conditions in the most brutal way, but millions of workers have been taking strike action and hitting back against the Tories, and we all stand behind that inspiring movement. But the government will try and use racism to divide us and to break our movement, to say that if the NHS is on its knees, if you can't get a house, if you can't afford to pay your bills, blame migrants, blame illegals. But we are absolutely crystal clear in saying unions stand against racism, workers stand against racism, migrants are not to blame, this government and the Tories are to blame, and we will unite black, white, Asian, Jewish, Muslim, Hindu, Christian, atheist, all of us to say racism will not divide us. We remember the might of the Black Lives Matter movement. We are at the continuation of that movement. We never went away. We demand justice for refugees and justice for Sheku Bayo and all the victims of institutional racism, of police brutality and racism. Here in Scotland, that means that every single one of us being part of the fight for justice for Sheku, standing together outside the inquest into his death and saying, we demand the truth, we demand justice, because if they get away with this, and they've got away with so many deaths of black people in police custody before, then they will do it again. We cannot let that happen. We say enough is enough. So refugees are welcome here. Justice for Sheku Bayo. Unions together against racism. We are the anti-racist majority. We're going to keep building this fight back. Not just in our unions, but in our communities, in every community across Scotland, because we saw in Erskine that the far right are waiting in the sidelines and they're ready to stir up hate, and we have to be there. Whenever the PA, the far right, the fascists rear their ugly heads, we stand together in our communities against hatred, against scapegoating and lies, and together with refugees. So join Stand Up to Racism today at our school, and let's say it loud, say it clear! Refugees are welcome here!
Fantastic, thank you so much, Ruby. Okay, our next speaker, I'm very pleased to welcome a man that will be known to many of you. Quite rightly, we've heard one of the other largest chants, which was Justice to Sheku Bayo. Please welcome Amma Ammar, human rights lawyer and the solicitor for the Sheku Bayo family.
Thank you, Tullett. Thank you to Stand Up to Racism and the trade union movement for organising this tremendous demonstration today. Brothers and sisters, in 2015, Europe's leaders screamed about a migrant crisis as 1.4 million refugees fled the war in Syria. We were told we couldn't take them, we didn't have enough room, yet those same countries absorbed 2 million Ukrainians within days, just over a year ago. There was no rubber dinghies, there was free tickets on the Eurostars, and we should ask the question that Gary Lineker, the question that others have asked, what exactly is the difference between a Ukrainian refugee, an Iraqi refugee, an Afghani refugee, a refugee from Africa? There should be no difference. We now know that Europe never had a migrant crisis. It had a racism crisis. And if you really want to root out racism, then dismantle the brutal regime of detention centres, dismantle the brutal regime of deportation, deal with the killer cops who act with immunity, and deal with our politicians who are knee-deep blood of thousands drowned by Europe's border controls. We need, as a movement, to harness the spirit of Kenmure Street. Those moments when a community came together and said that these are our neighbours, let them go. I will always remember that moment when myself and Mohammed Asif stepped into the Priti Patel's deportation van and the door was open, and I spoke to the two Indian men and I said, you are free because the power of the people of Glasgow. That power of the people rests in every community, in every town, in every city. We have a society in crisis where politicians glorify obscene wealth, propagating racism and conspiracy theories whilst they claim to stand up for ordinary people. They are nothing more than racist thugs who are patently out for the super rich. People who feel marginalised, never listened to, derided by the media and ignored by our politicians are looking for a chance to hit back. That vacuum will be filled by the far right if we do not fill it as a movement. The stakes are higher than they have ever been. So Gary Lineker is right to call out the language of the Tories. It is over 80 years since the Nazi regime embarked on the mass slaughter. The Nazis called them subhumans, alongside communists, alongside trade unionists, Roma people, disabled people, homosexuals. Over 6 million Jews were slaughtered in the extermination camps, the gas chambers of Auschwitz, of Birkenau, of Sobibor, of Treblinka, and yet once more we see the rise of the far right and fascism across Europe. Muslims, Africans, Arabs, Romas have replaced Jews as a focus of hatred, but their message has not changed. They're scapegoats to blame for your problems. No jobs to be had, blame the immigrants for taking them all. National security at risk, blame the Muslims. No houses, blame the asylum seekers. These are the same dangerous, corrosive ideas which led to the gas chambers. And there's one difference I have with Gary Lineker. It didn't start with the Nazis in 1930s. It started in 1905 with a British Alien Act that targeted immigrants and the Jews to this country. It started with the European countries in the 1920s and the 1930s that blocked hundreds of thousands of Jewish people fleeing the Nazi regime and turning them back to the gas chambers of Auschwitz and Treblinka. We have a hidden history which we should never forget. And today, election campaigns are being fought with the lives of men, women and children. Asylum seekers, immigrants are portrayed as threatening the civilized way of life and treated as the enemy of today. And today I want to close with a message for you from the family of Sheikh Bayo, Aggie Johnson, Sheikh's sister, Aggie Johnson, his brother-in-law, his nieces are here today. Sheikh was a 31-year-old father of two, and he died in police custody on the streets of Concordia on the 3rd of May 2015. He was unarmed, he was CS sprayed, he was battened, and he was brought to the ground in less than 1 minute. Up to 6 police officers restrained him. Not one, as in the case of George Floyd, but 6 officers. He was shackled, he was handcuffed, he was ankle-cuffed, and unable to breathe, he lost his life. And Kadi, Sheikh's sister, has said, if you march for Black Lives Matter, if you march for George Floyd, then Sheikh Bayo's family demand your solidarity. The public inquiry finished off yesterday for a 3-4 week break, and it reached its day 52. And over the last 7 years and 10 months, it has become clear to the family that the police in this country, the so-called independent investigators, and the Crown Office has been operated an unholy trinity of dishonesty, of racism, of incompetence, betraying the word justice. And as Caddy said, when they put her brother's lifeless body in the ambulance, he was still shackled like a slave with over 24 separate injuries, cuts, lacerations, bruises and a broken ribs. And within minutes, the process of criminalising, of smearing, of stereotyping began to enforce the image of a mad, dangerous black man in an attempt to blame Sheku Bayo for his own death. But he was unarmed and he never deserved to die. We are always told that justice is colourblind, but Sheku's family believe his skin colour was treated as a weapon as he was met with overwhelming force. Caddy has described Sheku as Scotland's George Floyd, but if taking the knee and Black Lives Matter, they will mean nothing if Scotland fails to fill up Festival Square at the end of the Sheku Bayo inquiry when it comes. Sadly, Sheku is not by any means the first black man to die in police custody, but Kenmore Street gives us hope that one day our children will have a future where the lives lived by Stephen Lawrence, Ahmed Sheikh, Imran Khan, Chris Donald, Simon San, Sheku Bayo, Kanatal Moti, Farzad Dag and all the island Kurdish will be commemorated for the lives they lived rather than lost. Thank you, brothers and sisters. Solidarity.
Many thanks, Anna. Of course, one of the things about this toxic racism in our society has been the growth and the confidence of the far right to think that they can come to our streets. And this, of course, has been happening in terms of patriotic alternative, led by Mark Collett, the former youth leader of the BNP. They tried to come to Erskine, and so it gives me great delight to welcome our next speaker, Julio Sullivan, from Erskine Residents Against the Nazis.
Hi everybody, my name is Julio Sullivan and I'm an Erskine resident. It's an absolute privilege to be out on the march today, standing in solidarity against racism and fascism. So I'm not that's really loud. So I'm not a public speaker, and I'm not proclaiming to be a political genius with any answers. I'm a mother of 3 children, and I live in Erskine, Renfrewshire. I've been going about my business, and recently Erskine has found himself in a fight against racist, fascist, lying, scum, patriotic alternative. Alternative have arrived in Erskine. Erskine is currently housing asylum seekers in the Mukla Hotel in Erskine, and in my opinion, they're 100% welcome. So basically, Patriotic Alternative have been turning up every single Sunday to demonstrate against the asylum seekers. They've been leafleting their filth through our letterboxes. They're trying to drum up support in the local community. And over the last 6 weeks, Erskine residents have joined together to stand alongside the trade unions, stands up for racism and all the left wing and activists to tell them they're not welcome. They're not welcome in Erskine, not at all. We are going to continue to fight for the rights of the asylum seekers in our local community. We're going to fight to support, to integrate them, to welcome them, and we're going to continue to turn up on every single demonstration that Patriotic Alternative come to, because we're just going to meet them head on, because they're not welcome. We're just going to keep continuing to tell them we're not accepting your racism, your fascism, your disgusting lies, and they're not welcome. Nazi scum out of Erskine! The refugees are not the threat, it's the Patriotic Alternative, the right-wing scum that are trying to keep these innocent people from trying to get safety, trying to build a life and get support. I'm going to finish up, because as I say, I'm not a speaker, and this is quite nerve-wracking, by the way. I would really ask everybody to please come along and support us down in our demonstrations, help out any way you can, because this is nowhere over. Do you know, we've got a lot of work to do in Erskine. A lot of us local residents are just trying to pull together to stand up to this fight. So please come along and join us. We need all the support we can get. Erskine says yes to refugees and asylum seekers. Erskine says no to Patriotic Alternative. And everyone's welcome in our community. Solidarity, people.
Fabulous, Julie. Solidarity to all in Erskine. Two pathetic members of the pathetic Alternative tried to turn up at the back and were chased off, and quite rightly so. Just to say to everyone, we've been joined today by obviously comrades here and anti-racists in Scotland, but also we have a fabulous delegation from Cumbria with that yellow banner there, and also from an anti-racist who came on a bus from Newcastle, and we've had people come here from Perth and Dundee and a full bus from Edinburgh. Okay, our next speaker, and it gives me great delight to welcome her, because she comes from my own trade union, UCU, and we are involved in a dispute. And just before I call her, I have an SOS. A little girl, Iona, has been separated from her dad. So Iona is to my right, to your left, at this statue. If the parent or carer could please come and collect Iona, that would be appreciated. Okay, so the next speaker, I'm very pleased to welcome UCU Scotland President, Lena Bannigan.
Hello everyone, it's fantastic to be here today. I am so glad to be able to bring a message of solidarity from the University and College Union. We represent university staff, 10,000 university staff up here in Scotland, and 120,000 university staff across the UK. And we are here in solidarity to say no to racism. I bring solidarity, but I also bring anger. Friends, the government, the UK government's anti-refugee bill is a disgrace. It is an attack on the fundamental human right to seek asylum. It will leave people faced with no choice but to flee from oppressive regimes, no way of seeking asylum, and the way that is at odds with international law. The truth is that this new bill is not about reality or policy. It is not about treating people with respect or dignity. The truth is that this is racist politics by the Tory government, a government that criminalized the Windrush generation, a government who calls people seeking refuge an invasion, a government who are quite prepared to ignore international human rights and asylum law. The truth is that words have consequences. The Home Secretary knows exactly what she's doing when she's choosing her words. Racist, dehumanizing language, like that we hear from the Tory party, it kills. It ends up with the good people in Erskine having to protest to keep the far-right, fascist, patriotic alternative out of their community. It forces them to have to show the community in solidarity with refugees housed there, and I think they're doing such fantastic work. Stand up to racism and those in Erskine and beyond, standing up to the racist far-right attempt to stir up hatred, have you seen absolute solidarity. I also want to mention, of course, Shekobayo. And I want to commend Shekobayo's family and their fight for justice. Every day we learn more about what happened to Shekobayo. And what we learn makes us more and more determined to ensure that the truth comes out and Shekobayo's family and friends get justice. The events leading to the death of Shekobayo must be subjected to the utmost scrutiny. The inquiry ongoing must be exhaustive in its investigation. You need to keep, and we need to keep, attending the vigils outside of the inquiry, and I'm very proud to have been there myself, alongside many other colleagues of my own trade union. And we will be there as long as it takes. So friends, please support, please follow, please donate the Justice for Shekobayo campaign, and oppose the patriotic alternative and far-right fascists wherever you see them. And oppose the immigration bill. So thank you very much, and solidarity from you to you.
Hello, hi everybody. My name is Naraksha from Canadian Integration Network. I'll be helping out Catchup today. I just want to say that we need to send a strong message. So why don't we all put our fists up and we say it loud, we say it clear. Refugees are welcome here. Say it loud and say it clear. Refugees are welcome here. Say it loud and say it clear. Refugees are welcome here. Say it loud and say it clear. Refugees are welcome here. Say it loud and say it clear. Refugees are welcome here. Woo! Thank you everyone for joining today's anti-racism march and rally. It's more than important ever that we need to come together and oppose the racism imposed on us by this racist government. At the moment, they are proposing an illegal migration bill which will ban the right to seek asylum in our communities. It will put an end to having the right to migration. They are placing people in hotel accommodations across the country. And they are blaming their own failed policies on people seeking asylum and refuge. And we need to send a clear message with the unions and with everyone that people are welcome here. So I'm delighted to welcome Rose Foyer, who is the STUC General Secretary.
Thank you, Peter. Hello everyone, friends, comrades. I'm proud to be here today. I'm proud to stand by all of you in a fight against racism and fascism. And never has that need for solidarity been more crucial than it is right now. With the cost of living crisis becoming increasingly severe, people are struggling, people are angry, people are scared, and that is a dangerous combination. The failure of our politicians to address the cost of living crisis, coupled with decades of austerity, has created the ideal conditions for a rise of the far right. And this rise has been fueled by the shameless and immoral UK government's ruthless scapegoating of refugees. And as trade unionists, it's our job to do something about that. It's our job to support everybody who's collectively working to build resistance locally, each and every time racists or Nazis gather to spread their hatred and their fear. Trade unions are the backbone of workers' rights and safe communities, and we need to use our collective strength and power to help build a more equal society. We need to play a key role in exposing and challenging racism, and we need to be vigilant and active in organising against fascism wherever it rears its head across Scotland's communities. And I want to pay tribute to Julie, the residents of Erskine, the local trade unions councils, the anti-racist campaigners, who've been working to stand up to hatred in that area and the lies and the fear that has been provoked by the far right there. We need to do every single thing we can to support this work. We need to continue to support justice for the Shaky Bayou campaign, which has once again exposed the depth of institutional racism in our country. And it's not just here in the UK. We're witnessing the rise of the far right across Europe, and the rise of extremism in Israel, on top of the continued repression of the Palestinian people. But change can happen. We witnessed the defeat of Trump. We witnessed the election of Lula in Brazil and Senor Bolsonaro. Look at the example of Ken Muir Street and how our communities stood up and united to send off the Home Office, and they won. So my message to you today is this: don't underestimate the challenges we face in combating racism in Scotland and beyond. But let's never forget that when working class people, unions, anti-racist campaigners get organised and unite and come together, we can beat racism both on our streets and in the very heart of our government. Solidarity! Justice for Shaky Bayou! Refugees are welcome here!
Thank you so much, Rose, for the powerful words. And exactly that is what we need. We need unity in our community, and we need solidarity across various movements. I'm delighted to welcome and introduce Robina Qureshi, CEO from Positive Action in Housing.
Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. I had quite a long speech, but Amar Anwar kindly helped me cut 75% of it. I just want to start by saying I'm standing here to resist racism. I'm standing here in support of refugees, and I'm standing here in support of the Palestinians and the atrocities that they're suffering right now to try and hold on to their homes and their land. I'm sick and tired of hearing the government talking about stopping boats. Rishi Sunak vows to stop the boats. Braverman talks of invasions and dreams of sending refugees to Rwanda. Genocide doesn't just happen, it begins with words like these. And the Home Secretary's words are literally starting fires in hotels up and down this country. The boats that I want to stop are not the ones with refugees in it who have no safe routes here. The boats that I want to stop are the super yachts belonging to the entitled rich, Sir Philip Green and Michelle Moan was up to her ears in it in PPE scandals. That's who I want to stop. So brothers and sisters, let's be clear that we do not want to be in a situation where we're divided and then destroyed. That's what they want. They want to distract us and divide us. That's the entire plan. Suella Braverman lied to Parliament a few days ago that 100 million refugees are on their way to Britain. Britain takes less than 1% of the world's refugees. Most of the world's refugees remain in the region of conflict. And through illegal wars, this country alone is responsible for creating 37 million of the world's refugees. And refugees. The UK government complains that people come here. She is so bothered about the thought that they should stay in the first aid country that they arrive in. Well, over the past year, our charity has helped hundreds of Ukrainian unaccompanied minors, families, children, young people to come and resettle in Britain. They travelled here, not direct from Ukraine. They travelled via Poland, via Germany, France, Spain, Italy, Sweden, and even Switzerland. That's how they got here. These are all safe countries, but no one complains about that. Even the cats and dogs of Ukrainians can get safe routes to this country. We know that through the work that we do. But the children and babies of Afghans and Syrians and Eritreans are left to simply drown, dehumanized to a statistic. How come there are no Ukrainians coming across these boats? They're refugees as well, because they have safe routes, whereas brown, black, Muslim refugees have no safe route to this country. They are not illegal, and they are not travelling illegally when they come here to claim asylum. And that comes to the end of that, and thank you, brothers and sisters, for hearing that.
Thank you so much, Rubina. And that's what we need. We need safe and legal routes for people to come to the country. If there are no safe and legal routes, people will continue to risk their lives and unfortunately lose their lives. Again, a long-standing activist and a friend of ours, I'm so delighted to welcome Sabir Zazai, CEO of Scottish Refugee Council.
Thank you, Kenar. It's so good to see so many of you have come out to stand for decency and humanity against the culture war and the sustained attack on the right to seek asylum. Seeking asylum is a fundamental human right, but this government's grotesque refugee ban bill would leave people fleeing violent and oppressive regimes with no way to claim asylum. The immigration bill is an abomination. This government is basically ending a refugee protection system that has offered sanctuary to people over the last 75 years. We must defeat this racist evil with humble love. They're using lies and myths to whip up hate. We will use love and compassion to create more welcoming communities for those seeking sanctuary. How could it be fair that an Afghan woman with 2 children arrives here through one of the resettlement programs and we help and support her, but that same woman arriving off her own back because there's no safe and legal routes available to her, that we then render her criminal and send her to Rwanda? This government is having a go at vulnerable refugees each time it fails in its own priorities. It stokes up hatred and divisions between communities, whilst those of us suffering from the austerity here in the UK and those fleeing oppression globally have so much in common. People that have come to these islands have brought so much with them. They have enriched us over generations. I arrived here 23 years ago in the back of a lorry. Those people that arrived at the same time are now contributing at all levels. I think they've given more to this country than Priti Patel, than Suella Braverman and Rishi Sunak. Rishi Sunak and Suella Braverman's proposal to ban people claiming asylum in the UK is illegal, immoral, and nothing short of opportunistic. They must try to win the election by tackling poverty, the crumbling NHS, and the climate crisis, not stoking up fear and hate. It is disgraceful and not who we are. Wars do not discriminate, and so shouldn't our policies for people fleeing wars. Today, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, we must call on both UK and Scottish Government to treat refugees fairly and humanely. Asylum might be dispersed to the UK Government, but love and compassion is still devolved to us here in Scotland. We want refugees to thrive and not just survive in Scotland. These are challenging times, but there is hope, and that hope comes from each and every one of you in this square. We must struggle on. There are strong forces arrayed against us, but we are stronger. There is deep, enduring change in the air, born of love. Love knows no boundaries and no borders. Love does not see color and hear accent. Love is only satisfied when justice is restored. We want freedom, we want justice. Freedom to live holy and remarkable life in families. Freedom to laugh, freedom to cry, because life is good and bad for ordinary human beings in ordinary ways. So say it loud and say it clear. Refugees are welcome here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sabir, who reminds us that we need a compassionate, we need a system based on compassion, we need a system based on human rights, and an immigration system in line with international protection. Compassionate. We need a system based on compassion. We need a system based on human rights and an immigration system in line with international protection. And in Scotland, we can do more to welcome people, and we should do more to welcome people. I'm delighted to welcome Paul Sweeney, who's Labour MSP for Glasgow, and also the
will triumph over hate, and that solidarity will triumph over oppression. And that is a message that has been out loud and clear today from Glasgow to this hateful, fascistic Tory government. And we will say that it is based not on power, it's not based on the power of this government, it is based on the fear of this government. That is why they are trying to pander to the worst instincts in our country, to try and desperately cling on when they know that they are in political freefall. I think we should take heart from what's happened in the last few months. I think we should take heart for the power expressed by the working people of Glasgow today, that the Tories are on the run, and we will see them chased out of power once and for all at the next election. Damn them for what they have done. It's just a question of how much damage they can do before they're finally kicked out, and we'll see to it that we call them out for every disgusting act that they try and visit on some of the weakest people in our world today. We must be on guard to protect as many people as we can, and we will, as Glaswegians, be on the forefront of that, as we saw on Kenmure Street and as we see in community groups across the city every week. From the bus campaign to extend free concessionary travel to asylum seekers in Glasgow, to the people who go out and take food to asylum seekers, to the people that help give them mobile phones. Just give them some love, dignity, and treat them as human beings with the same value and same inherent dignity as anyone else. That's what it's all about, being a citizen of this city of Glasgow, and that's why I'm so proud to represent it. That is what we are showing today, and the Tories will never conquer that. We will conquer their disgusting, horrible bigotry, and we will do it at the first opportunity. Yesterday we celebrated St Patrick's Day, and 180 years ago the same things were said by the powerful against the Irish refugees who came to Glasgow. It was our great-great-grandparents, it was our relatives who were on the receiving end of this viciousness, this bigotry, this fascism, and we know exactly how ahistorical and how ignorant it is, because it was those same people who built the city around us today, the same people who made this great city of Glasgow, because it is the people of Glasgow from every background of the world who built the dignity and the solidarity and the prosperity that we all enjoy today, who built the trade union movement, who built the political institutions, that delivered for the working people, because class is the single most important thing that binds us. Damn them who try and divide us on the basis of race and all other curious and pathetic ignorances. It is about class, and that is all that matters, that if we stay united and continue to argue that we as working people, united from all corners of the world, achieving our common aim of sharing the wealth of our country that we build together, then we will truly have the Tories out of power forever, and that is what they truly fear. So we should take heart today. We should take heart that they're doing the things they're doing because they're scared. They're scared of losing power, and the more desperate they get, the more vicious they get. But let's call them out and keep them on the run. Solidarity.
Thank you, Paul Sweeney, for reminding us of what we can do in Scotland. When people are seeking asylum, they are actually banned from working. And this is a campaign you can support called Lift the Ban campaign. And you can ask for people to have the right to work. Another important campaign in Scotland is the Bus Pass campaign, where we're asking the concessionary travel to be extended to people seeking asylum in Scotland. And this is something we can do. Earlier, I remember the solidarity in Kenmare Street, and I remember the people around me who came together to say no to the racist immigration system we have. And I'm delighted to invite Chris Stevens, SNP MP.
Good afternoon, Glasgow. I can't hear you, and if I can't hear you, the Tories won't be able to hear you, so good afternoon, Glasgow. Let's be clear. We reject the culture war that the Tories are now inflicting on the country by trying to blame immigrants for their mistakes. But we say one thing today: Tories out, refugees in. They are the ones who crash the economy. They are the ones who are responsible for immigration being at 10%. They are responsible for food inflation being at 13%. It's their fault. It's not the fault of those who seek sanctuary in this country. Now, I had to sit in the House of Commons on Monday listening to Tories arguing in favour of this refugee ban bill. They were telling us that it would deal with criminal gangs. The legislation doesn't even mention criminal gangs. They were saying that these people who are coming to the country are illegal. But as the banners all say today, and we say it again, no one is illegal. They talk about economic migrants. Well, perhaps if they went to a show races in the red cards, education course, they would find out that they're not economic migrants. They tell us the country is being invaded. And then of course we had the favourite of all, Scott Benson, Blackpool MP, who told us that the country is full. No, sorry Scott, we've had enough and we're full of your bullshit, so stop it, stop it. And I'll tell you this, they don't have any decent argument to support this bill, and we'll continue to argue against it, to fight against it, and to make sure it doesn't happen. They're the ones, the Western world, are responsible for abandoning people in Afghanistan, they abandoned people in northern Syria. We have a duty and responsibility to those people to take them in and to look after them. Now we are here in this great city. I'm absolutely proud to represent the people of Glasgow. But we all know that there's one simple qualification to qualify as a Glaswegian. and that is simply this. Rule 1, if you've lived in Glasgow for 24 hours, you're a Glaswegian for the rest of your life. That's exactly what we say. And what we also say is this, is if it requires us to stand up for our fellow Glaswegians, that's exactly what we're going to do. And if we need to use our human rights to support their human rights, that's exactly what we'll do. And this city has a great history of doing so. We stood alongside the Glasgow girls to get their school friend aggressor back. We stood together only a couple of years ago and sent circle packing when they tried to lock out asylum seekers from their homes. And in Kenmure Street we stood and sent the Home Office packing when they tried to take 2 of our fellow Glaswegians. And let's say it loud and clear again, and I'll say it here. I'm prepared to stand with any fellow Glaswegian who stands up and says to the Home Office, you're not taking one of our citizens and one of our fellow Glaswegians. If you try it, come ahead, because we're ready for you. We reject the Tory racism, and when they complain and scream and say, why do you say we detest you? Why do you say we detest Tories? We detest Tories because we detest their racist policies and what they're doing to people in this country by trying to make those who seek sanction in this country an enemy. They're not an enemy, they're fellow Glaswegians, and we stand with them today as we always will. Thank you very much indeed, everyone. Thank you.
Chris, and also to Paul. We all welcome so much support from our MSPs. We're going to move now to another range of speakers who are representing the various trade unions. Stand Up to Racism is extremely proud of the support that it receives from the trade union and labour movement. They have been so generous, so steadfast in their support over the last 8 years, and it's absolutely stupendous. So it gives me great pleasure to first of all welcome the speaker from the RMT in Scotland. Please give a warm welcome to Gordon Martin.
Good afternoon, Glasgow. You know, it was a year ago yesterday that the bandit cartelists at P&O, in conjunction with the bastard Tories at Westminster, sacked the whole workforce at P&O unceremoniously. And Tony Benn, the late great Labour MP, used to say it was instructive about how a government would treat its own people based on how they treat refugees. So what way does this government treat refugees? Absolutely abysmally. What way does it treat its own citizens, especially us, the working class? Absolutely deplorably. So what we're going to do about it, what we need to do about it, is we need absolute unity. And to see so many here today is absolutely brilliant, because this is what we need. The weakest people in society are people that are trying to escape war, and to see so many here today is absolutely brilliant, because this is what we need. The weakest people in society are people that are trying to escape war, famine, and all sorts of other dreadful circumstances to come to Britain or elsewhere to try and build a life for them and their families, as any human being would. It's just an accident of birth where you're born. You can't do anything about it. But if you live in dire situations, you've got to try and do something about it. So we've got to support people wholeheartedly coming to this country. Outrageous, increasingly right-wing bullshit we are getting for this Tory government has went way beyond any acceptable levels of tolerance. So we've only got one answer, and I'm a great believer in doing things for ourselves. You know, I'm not here to criticise any political party, but they won't do it for us. Good people like Chris and Paul Sweeney will stand up for us and do what they can. But as part of that party machine, they're limited. So we need to do this for ourselves through unity in the trade union movement, unity in the working class. But we need to start winning in the workplace and in the communities, because our communities are being decimated just as they're trying to rip up their terms and conditions of employment in the workplace. So winning in the workplace isn't good enough. It's important, but it's not in itself the end game. We need to win in the workplace and we need to win in our communities, because if we don't, we'll be sending us back not a generation or two, but a century. That's where they're going. And in the workplace, the bandit Tories are now trying to ban the right to effective strike action. They want to make slaves of me and you. So I say to that, fuck the Tories! We're not having it! We're not having it! We're going to stand united, we're going to press the leaderships, because the leaderships need a bit of steel put into them, right across the trade union movement. Fear to their own shadow, half of them. So they need a bit of steel in them, and that's going to come from the bottom up, because nobody else will do it for us. So that's my message here today. Fuck the Tories, solidarity with asylum seekers, and pressurise your own union to get off its knees and start fighting, not just in the workplace, but for you, right across your communities. Solidarity forever.
Fantastic to hear such powerful speeches indeed. Stop the Tories. Okay, before I move on to our next speaker, I just wanted to say that Resist Racism is currently trending, which is absolutely fantastic on Twitter. So all of you that are so into tweeting, tweet please, use the hashtag, put up photos, and make sure it goes to the top. Okay, it's a great pleasure now to introduce our next speaker, who is from the trade union EIS, one of the amazing stalwarts of the support for Stand Up to Racism, Sunita Nair, who is the EIS Anti-Racist Subcommittee member. Sunita.
Good afternoon, colleagues, trade union brothers, sisters and siblings. It is great to be here as a first-time rally speaker and to see such an amazing turnout and support for anti-racism, standing together for fairness and equality for all. The current state of affairs have led us to still be talking about the same issues over and over again. We are still facing the same battle of discrimination in Scotland today, but we must believe and fight for a changing tide. When everyday racism is so frequent that it becomes normal, when we are constantly dealing with the emotions of our racial trauma and having to deal with the everyday microaggressions in the workplace, we need to challenge this, stand up and speak out. Despite our efforts, there is still a huge lack of diversity in the teaching workforce in Scotland today, as there is in other professions. Our teachers are key to educating the next generation and showing children what world is possible. We need diverse perspectives and culturally rich environments. We need everyone to be reflected in the environment, valued and respected. Only 1.8% of teachers are BAME. BAME young people do not see teaching as a profession for them. Many believe because they have also experienced racial trauma while they were at school. There can be no doubt that we need to attract more BAME talent to the workforce. We need BAME people to see role models like themselves. We will see a more representative, diverse teaching workforce then. The Scottish Government's commitment is to reach a recruitment of 4% of BAME teachers by 2030, but data reports show that we will not reach this target if we continue at this current pace. In education, data shows BAME teachers leaving the profession at higher rates than their white colleagues at every stage of their career. We need to understand the reasons why this is the case. In 2019, the Scottish Parliament Equality and Human Rights Committee's report and Race Equality, Employment and Skills found that 86% of Black, Asian and minority ethnic women had experienced racism while working in the public sector. A small-scale EIS survey in 2018 showed 71% of respondents had experienced racism at work. The The consequences of racial inequality at work may include racial trauma, anxiety, professional isolation and lack of progression. It is crucial that a commitment to getting it right for those already in the profession is at the centre of any proactive measures to increase diversity and education in the workforce. A diverse society brings so many benefits for teachers, other education staff, as well as for learners, educational establishments and the wider community. There are less than 1% of BAME teachers in promoted posts. The extremely low numbers and lack of progression into senior management positions for BAME teachers means the few teachers that we do have may choose to leave the profession. When I constantly see my fellow colleagues getting promoted while I get told after countless interviews for promoted positions that I just wasn't a fit, it's still a shocking reality of recruitment when going for promoted posts today. I am left guessing whether I am good enough or whether there is something else going on. I know that many of my BAME colleagues will be similarly second-guessing themselves whenever this happens. We have so much to bring to the work. We work hard and we deserve nothing but equality and respect. So what can we do? As trade unionists, we can stand united in solidarity against all forms of oppression, against racism and inequality, on our streets, in our homes, in our schools and in our workplaces. We must educate ourselves, both in schools and outside of schools. There needs to be a focus on professional learning for all teachers in Scotland. In my 20 years of teaching in Scotland, I have never had any formal training in anti-racism. Everyone from head teachers, class teachers, education directors, everyone in education needs to be trained to build our racial literacy, for everyone to understand the language and the importance of diversity, and ultimately enable them to support BAME staff and colleagues in the workplace. This would ensure better conversations with colleagues and line managers. Line managers would be aware of the issues faced by BAME teachers and understand how racism affects BAME teachers, especially with their mental health and well-being. BAME teachers would be more likely to ever speak up and report racist incidents, knowing that they would be listened to and something would be done. Currently, around 400 teachers and people across Scotland have been trained in building the racial literacy programme, which came about in the Scottish Government's anti-racism in education programme, of which the EIS is an instrumental part. Building our racial literacy and our solidarity needs to be a priority for everyone in education and beyond. By working collectively through our unions, we can achieve racial equality and ensure diversity in the workforce. I want to see an education system and a world of work where there is truly fairness and equality for all. Let's keep organising and joining our voices together as trade unionists, as workers of colour, as anti-racists. We stand together in solidarity.
Thank you so much, Rita. Okay, our next speaker is, I'm very pleased to welcome, is Raza Sadiq, who is on the STUC Black Workers Committee. He is our Vice Chair. Please give a warm welcome, Raza.
Afternoon all. This is first time I'm speaking to a rally, but I've been challenging racism for over 30 years. We are here today to speak out against government divisive policies on race, particularly refugee bill and the cost of living crisis. That is affecting disproportionately to black workers. These injustices demand our attention, and we must come together in unity to demand a real change. The Refugees Bill is discriminatory and goes against the fundamental values of our society. We must speak out against this attempt to restrict the rights of asylum seekers and refugees. Government portrayal of refugees as a threat to our society fuels racism and hostility, and we must stand against this divisive rhetoric and demand from our leaders take action to support those in need.
The living cost crisis affects all workers, but particularly black workers who are more likely to experience poverty. This social justice issue can create inequalities and widen the gap between rich and poor. To achieve unity, we must start with empathy and understanding. We must acknowledge and address the systemic racism that exists in our society. We must listen to marginalized groups, their voices, and engage in dialogue to seek our diverse perspectives. Call it out. Leaders are pulling the ladder up after they have climbed themselves in the name of black workers, black community. You know who I'm referring to. I'm referring to Rishi and Swella. Both are fueling hatred and racism by providing cover to racist policies. No place for such black leaders. Reject all black leaders who are pulling the ladder behind. Yeah, definitely we need to do that. How we do this? We must come together in a unity to fight against injustices, demand real change, stand with marginalized communities, challenging and dismantling systems that perpetrates injustices. And thanks for attending and being anti-racist allies. And I want you to join the United East Rise. United Rise. Thank you.
Brilliant, Brazza, for bringing those greetings from the Black Workers Committee. Our next speaker, I'm very pleased to welcome, is from the Union Unite Scotland. Please give a warm welcome to Claire Keegan.
Thank you so much, thanks for having me. My name is Claire Keegan, I'm an organiser of Unite the Union and I'm here on behalf of Unite the Works Economy. Our campaign is aiming to drive change from the workplace to the community. With collective action, organising and building power and drive change from the workplace to the community. With collective action, organising and building power in communities, the communities that we live and we work in, so we can shape the political agenda opposed to just commenting on it. We've seen a fantastic show of strength, but now more than ever we need all trade unions to take a front seat role to oppose all forms of racism and fascism. We need trade unions to do more. Policies, task force, committees are all fantastic, but often we find ourselves being reactive. We need to do better because it falls on us to push back together, all of us who are exploited by a greedy capitalist class. We need to continue to engage with our neighbours, continue to engage in our communities and to grow working class power. We need to put collective bargaining at the heart of everything we do. Racial equality at the centre of everything. We need to organise, we need to build diversity, we need to engage with more black workers in all sectors so we have fair representation. We need policy to be reflective of the modern workplace and modern communities. And we need us as trade unionists and activists to lead by example. We know all too well that racism in all its forms has a devastating effect on people's lives, on their social environments, their health care, policing, education, law. We're stereotyped as lazy, aggressive, angry, chip on your shoulder, troublemakers. Well, I stand here today with my daughter in front of you as a proud brown woman, but also as an angry troublemaker. To keep us in our place, they peddle a narrative, blaming each other, those unable to work, those claiming benefits, those who are struggling to pay their bills, and those who are fleeing war. But it's a smoke screen, we know that. Det Paley, Nigel Farage, Jacob Rees-Mogg, Suella, continuously leading in a dangerous narrative after last grasp of climate to power. All while the government is awash with political misconduct, dodgy business contracts for their pals, lies and corruption, the refusal to do anything about the profiteering crisis, profits of the UK's largest companies are now 89% higher profit than pre-pandemic. It's a broken economy, companies are taking advantage of a crisis, and the governments are letting them do it. We need to expose them and we need to challenge them. We have a lack of affordable housing. That is a political choice. The reason people are working multiple jobs but cannot pay their bills, that is a political choice. Children are hungry, our elderly are poor, and NHS is in crisis. All political choices. So the burden has fell on our shoulders to be the change, to educate, to organise and to resist. We will not stand by where the most vulnerable in our society are being targeted by a corrupt Tory government. An attack on one of us is an attack on all of us. So we stand here today, we say justice for Sheikh Bayo, and we say it loud, we say it clear, refugees are welcome here.
Thank you so much. Okay, before I call our next speaker, I've just got a couple of short statements to read out from supporting organisations. One of them is MEN, the Muslim Engagement and Development Unit. This is from Lindsay Taylor, who says that we are standing with you united today and around the country to mark Resist Racism Day. We work hard to stand and speak out against all forms of hate, prejudice and discrimination. Today and around the country to mark Resist Racism Day. We work hard to stand and speak out against all forms of hate, prejudice and discrimination. But unfortunately we're seeing at a societal and political level a shifting tides in other direction. It's no longer centre-right or even just right. Instead, we are seeing an active shift to the extreme right. We're seeing communities being directly targeted when all others are trying to do is to work for the betterment of all. When did it become a crime to work to prevent hate? When did it become a crime to work to educate the wider community on the discrimination of marginalisation of our communities? There can be no space for hate in our society. We must all stand strong in the rising tide of hate, but take a moment to look around and take comfort in the fact that those to your left and right here are standing with you. That's from Lindsay Taylor. I also, obviously, because it is the Shabbat, they send their warm greetings to this demonstration as they're unable to be present because of Shabbat. Racism and anti-Semitism are unfortunately growing, and it is important for all in civil society to oppose them. Many of today's Jewish community are descended from refugees, and we view with concern how the current situation has fostered a racist response, not only directed against the refugees themselves, but also hatred and conspiracy theories directed against other minority communities. We must all unite to challenge this along with all forms of racism. Wherever racism and anti-Semitism raise their voices, we must be united against them. Fantastic messages of support. Okay, moving very quickly, our next speaker, I'm pleased to welcome a real stalwart of Stand Up to Racism. Please give a warm welcome to Mohammed Asif, the Afghan Human Rights Foundation.
Thank you, brothers and sisters. And please say a big thank you to SUTA, Stand Up to Racism, for the wonderful job they did. Next week is the 20th anniversary of the illegal war in Iraq. And I'm saying this because when the Home Secretary in the British government is comparing that we, the refugees, have invaded Britain, so I want to remind the Home Secretary and the British government, ask an Iraqi how an invasion looked like. Ask me from Afghanistan how an invasion looked like. Ask a Ukrainian how an invasion looks like. Ask a Yemeni, a Sudanese, ask the Palestinians. I say this and I'm going to repeat myself. If British, NATO and the imperialist Western regimes want fewer refugees in this country, or if they don't want refugees, what they need to do is they need to stop illegal wars, illegal invasions, selling weapons to brutal regimes like the Saudi Arabia and others, and butchering the women and children in Yemen, brothers and sisters. And finally I want to say, because there are many other people and I don't want to repeat what people say, it is not me, the refugees, or the refugees in this country. who stole your money, who stole your resources. It is the filthy, the corrupt and morally bankrupt Tories who stole your money. It is not refugees or asylum seekers who come on the dinghies, who destroy the economy. It is the Tories who caused, the inflation crisis, the cost of living crisis, the petrol crisis, the energy crisis, and now you can't even find tomatoes and Asda and Tesco's because of the Tories' Brexit, brothers and sisters. So it's not the refugees to be blamed. What the Tories want you to do is to blame refugees and migrants, blacks and others, for their own failure. That the Tories have failed miserably in this country on every ground and every level. So now for the next election or the next election, they want to find a scapegoat, and the scapegoat is refugees and asylum seekers. Brothers and sisters, finally, I want to say thank you to all and everyone who turned up today. And we say loud and clear that refugees are welcome here. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you so much, Asif. And I'm now delighted to welcome Liz McGuggin from PCS Scotland.
Thank you, Claire, and welcome everybody. I'm bringing solidarity from PCS Union. PCS is proud to work alongside Stand Up to Racism for many years to tackle racism in the workplace and in our communities. And I'm proud to have worked closely with the Glasgow branch to Stand Up to Racism. Now last year I spoke on this stage about the campaign that PCS has launched with Care for Cali, Child Rescue and Freedom for Torture organisations against the then Home Secretary Priti Patel's refugee pushback policy. And just over a month later, that policy was scrapped just days before the judicial review was due to be heard in court. And this is a massive victory for our members working in the Home Office and for refugees. However, this is not the last inhumane and racist policy that we would have to challenge. The threat of legal action by PCS over the disgraceful conditions endured by refugees and their members at the Manston Migrant Processing Centre last summer led to that for the next centre to be clear. However, and that was a further victory for our members and for the refugees. However, when we were preparing to go to court over the pushback policy, Patel was proposing the Rwanda policy, which aims to send asylum seekers to Rwanda and put them at further risk. The PCS again joined forces with Care for Cali, with detention issued an interim measure stating that one of the 7 passengers would face a real risk of irreversible harm if transferred to Rwanda, and that led to appeals from the other passengers. And to this day, no asylum seeker has been deported to Rwanda. And when Patel resigned as Home Secretary, she was actually replaced with someone much worse, which I did not think was possible. So Ella Braverman has took over the role and has continued to push the Rwanda policy. She's currently in Rwanda pushing this policy. And disappointingly, the High Court ruled in December that the policy was not unlawful. However, the decision also stated that the 8 removal decisions made by the Home Secretary in respect of individual refugees must be quashed, and meaning that they will not be deported to Rwanda, and that part of the judgment is welcomed. However, PCS is unable to appeal the decision that the policy is lawful. We continue to support those organisations and the refugees who can. Far too many have died crossing the channel in these small boats. They are risking their lives to cross the channel because it's a better alternative than staying where they are. There needs to be a safer way for them to do this, and that's why we have worked alongside Care for Cali to develop a safe passage for refugees policy. And this was launched in Parliament in November.
it sets out a clear alternative which would put an end to the dangerous small boat crossings. And we need a system that supports the most vulnerable. They're fleeing persecution, they're fleeing war, they're fleeing famine. And we'll continue to oppose and to challenge any inhumane and racist policy the government intends to introduce, including the proposed bill to detain and remove small boat migrants. We believe that no human is illegal and that everyone has a right to live safely. To tackle racism involves so much more. It's about supporting your colleagues, supporting your neighbours, supporting anyone who faces racism on a daily basis. And we need to continue to challenge this, not just on one day of the year, but whenever and wherever we witness it. And we've seen the rise of racism, with racist organisings growing within communities. And we heard earlier from Erskine resident Julia Sullivan about the alternative, the patriotic alternative protest in Erskine. And we've seen that our activists have come together and we've challenged these organisations. And I want Julie and all the residents of Erskine to know that BCS stands with you. You have our full support. So let's continue to stand together to fight against racism. Solidarity.
Thank you so much, Liz. Let's do some chanting. No borders, no nations. No borders, no nations.
Stop deportation.
No borders, no nations.
Stop deportation.
No borders, no nations.
Stop deportation.
We say it loud and we say it clear that we are against the new illegal migration bill and that refugees are welcome here. And now I'd like to welcome Colin Brown from the Fire Brigades Union Scotland.
Thank you. We love the United Kingdom, where the Leader of the Opposition dodges votes on the worst pieces of Tory legislation rather than show any backbone or leadership. Where they legislate to deny and enshrine legal rights and human rights, forcing through legislation that labels innocent people a threat to public order. Labels innocent people a threat to public order to remove their legal protections and human rights. This government has no respect for any of our human rights. They ignore their role in creating humanitarian crisis through war, persecution perpetrated against the Palestinians. The point of the small boats ignoring the UK weapons that have been turned on civilians, causing these so-called migration crises. The chorus a dehumanising, racist narrative to distract the masses from a legacy of government failure, promoting and normalising hatred of others. Against a racist UK government playing to a racist mob, we will stand against them. The FPU will always stand with anti-racists and anti-fascists. We will always fight for fairness, humanity and justice. We will always resist racism. I want to end with a poem written by a friend and FPU comrade, firefighter Brendan Woodhouse, who's seen firsthand the real cost of closing legal routes. Brendan volunteers on rescue boat Sea-Watch 3 in the Med. The United Nations estimates there are over 24,000 migrants dead or missing at sea between 2014 and 2021. I hope we can do Brendan justice here. If they were white, there would be no need for speeches, no sucking leeches, no deaths on beaches, and no idiot creatures spitting words that aren't true, like they come from a zoo. Like they've escaped and they're dangerous. There'd be such a change in us. We'd see it with clarity, if only we live in a world with race parity. If they were white, there'd be no need for rescue. They'd just get on a plane, speak out their name, we'd treat them the same as if they came from Ukraine. We wouldn't allow them to just drown in the sea if they looked like me. We'd open the gates to the walls that we've built. We'd see it's a sin to do anything other than just let them in. If they were white, there'd be no deals with Rwanda. British Duterte would see it just like Uganda with Idi Amin. would just let them in. There'd be no deportations to faraway nations, be no wave machines, but it's come so routine to treat frightened people so incredibly mean. Every time without fail that the Prime Minister fails, you'll see it splash on the front of the Daily Mail. Look, a refugee boat's just set sail. If we were white, we'd still be alive. Samuel would still be alive. If we were white, can you imagine that all of a sudden the papers went silent, nothing was said, do you think they'd never mention the dead? Can you imagine if those faces were pale? What would they say in that rag Daily Mail? Can you think that they'd print words like cockroaches? Or maybe they'd hire buses and coaches? If they were white. If they were white. If they were white, there'd be no need for the drownings, no Daily Mail flounings. We'd build bridges, not walls, and the names that they're called would all fall. There'd be none at all. There'd be boats and planes to whisk them away to a place where they're safe, and people would meet them, wholeheartedly hate them. If they were white, they'd be allowed to work, and no one would smirk, saying that they're here for a massive fake benefit system that just isn't true, but is sticking like glue, because repeated over and over again. Each and every one of them have a name, but we've allowed their names to be numbers, and the numbers are high, and 24,000 people have died. 24,000 mothers have cried. Say it loud for those that didn't survive. If they were white. If they were white.
Thank you so much, Colin, for that powerful words and the truth that people experienced. I just want to also mention that in 2020, we lost 2 friends in hotel accommodation. We lost Bedrettin in parking incident, who was shot dead by the police. We lost Adnan, who took his own life in the hotel accommodation. And we remember hundreds of people who lost their lives while seeking asylum and while they were in the asylum process. And we remember, until now, if these strategies could have been avoidable, and the refugees are asking for justice, whether it could have been avoidable. And as one of my friends Ishmael says, people are not numbers. We are not numbers. They are people with experiences and stories. And I want everybody to remember that. Now I'd like to introduce Davina Rankin, who's from Unison, Scotland.
Thank you everyone. I bring solidarity from Unison to this rally today, and our thanks to the organisers and to all of you for being here and sending out a clear message that refugees are welcome here. Unison Scotland and Unison UK have declared 2023 the year for Black Worker. It's to celebrate and recognise the achievements of Black workers across the UK and across the world, and to also challenge the barriers and the ongoing discrimination they face on a day-to-day basis. Black workers face discrimination at work every day. We struggle to get proper jobs in the first place, we're underpaid, underpromoted, and we occupy the most lowest paid jobs. And then during the COVID pandemic, it was black workers that paid the ultimate price due to lack of PPE. We need to stand together and resist the racist narrative that has been spun by the UK government that seeks to blame refugees for their failures. It started under Cameron and May with the hostile environment, and the Windrush generation paid the price. In 2015, the government brought in the racist prevent duty that sought to make educators enforcers to stigmatise and isolate black students. And I was proud to be Unison members stood against that legislation. Now we have Sunak, who proudly stands behind the rostrum, stating stop the boats, and Suella, who dreams about illegal deportation flights to Rwanda. They have sought to scapegoat certain asylum seekers for the absolute failure, for the cost of living crisis and its impact on the working class. We must come together and we must continue to take a stand against racism, the state question. As a Black Glass region, I am truly proud that when the call goes out for a show of solidarity against racism, it is always answered in full, even if it is raining and it is the March Day. And as a trade unionist, I'm also very proud that the trade unions are at the heart of this fight. And they're here today, and I love the banners that are around the square. And at the top tip, they're actually stop you getting away if you use them as a shawl. But we can never be complacent. Racists are like black and white, always. And at the top tip, they actually stop you getting away if you use them as a shawl. There's an injustice against us all. Solidarity and my full support. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Davina, and my real heartfelt thanks to our trade union brothers and sisters in Unite in FPU that we just heard here. Absolutely stupendous. Okay, we're moving on to the final two speakers now. I'd like to welcome Ashwin, who is representing the Student Federation of India. He's a PhD student here, but he's also a member of the Indian Workers Association, and he'd just like to say a couple of words.
Hi. Let me begin by making it very clear that we strongly condemn Zionism and the genocide of Palestinian people by the opposition. And we echo our undying loyalty with the Palestinian cause. We resist any attempt to equate anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism, like what we saw. Speakers before me have already spoken to the significance of this day. We are here today in solidarity with the struggles of people against oppression everywhere, to put a stop to the spread of reactionary and fascist forces the world over, to say that we refuse to stay silent in the face of racism, xenophobia, communal hatred, and discrimination, that they are willing to take everything to ensure that fascism does not rear its head again. As Indian students in the UK, we are often subjected to forward racism. But it's equally important to speak on the history of colonial oppression that we have faced, and to state how many such mechanisms continue to exist within our universities that perpetuate a process of colonial knowledge production. We are refused to refuse the same access of scholarships and means to fund our education. We are refused access to affordable housing. And when many of us fall through the gaps in a system that was put in place by the empire, we are criminalized and made to feel that we ought to be grateful for the crumbs and scraps thrown our way. It is also important for my organization to state from this platform and to hold to account the brutalities inflicted on people in my own country, be it through the operations of patriarchy, caste, or religious discrimination. Not a day goes by when we don't see news reports about a Muslim citizen of India was lynched or beaten up for the crime of being Muslim. About how a Dalit woman was raped and murdered for being a Dalit. These are crimes against humanity and it will not be common. This will not be common. With these short words, I conclude. Thank you. Solidarity.
Thank you, Ashwin. And our final speaker is a refugee asylum seeker. His name is MDM Hamid. He is from Newcastle, studying in Northumbria. He's just going to speak for a minute, so please give him a warm welcome.
Hello everyone! Hello Scotland! Can I just say, everyone, including the security services on the back and all the people who is here, thank you for being there for us today. This is the rain for blessings. This is the rain of solidarity today. I am seeking asylum and I'm waiting last 5 years for my decision. Currently I'm studying law in Northumbria University and I'm training to be a barrister going forward to fight for the oppressions and the racism we are facing going forward. We came all the way from Newcastle. Newcastle Unites, Stand Up to Racism Newcastle. All of us are here today, so give them a big shout out today. For me, being an asylum seeker, I want to share with all of you some important bits. Recently, last couple of years, the way the hostile environment is going, I am nowadays feeling anxious, scared to tell anyone when they ask me I am seeking refuge in the UK. That is the reality in the field. Can we not change it? Can we not put any compassion? Can we not put any empathy to the people who are coming here to seek refuge? Nobody knows why I'm seeking asylum. I was enslaved. I was trafficked in this country.
And then I'm just going to make 2 announcements.
Please don't judge people like me without knowing their history, without knowing their story. And just don't tell us, please go back. We are here for a reason. We are here to give it back. We are here to be all of you. Please give us that chance and we'll prove it back. Just a quick thing to encourage all of you. Nothing is impossible. In 2018, through my case, I have established the rights of higher education for all the asylum seekers in the UK. There was a study ban for asylum seekers for higher education in the UK, but I didn't stop. I fought for it. I took the Home Office to judicial review, and it was my case which established the rights of higher education in the whole asylum seekers in the UK. Be consistent. Be there for all refugees. Stand up to racism. Seeking refuge is not a crime. Can I please change it today a bit? If I say it loud, say it clear, can you say asylum seekers are welcome here? Say it loud, say it clear. Say it loud, say it clear. Say it loud, say it clear. Thank you everyone. Thank you so much for coming out for us. I'm really, really grateful to all of you. Thank you.
Super, absolutely brilliant. Okay, I'm now just going to introduce my co-conspirator here today, Pina, who's going to read out a very short poem, and after that I'll just come back and make closing announcements.
Thank you so much to our friend MD for sharing his story. I just wanted to, before we close up, read a poem written by the Oasis Women's Group of Medical Integration Network. The Togetherness Manifesto. As a clock moves through time, as ants follow ants in a line, so is this mingling a movement, a powerful engine that climbs step by step, towards a togetherness that shouts, this is strength, this is my sister's voice, this is my brother's voice, this is voice. A stone falling in water that touches the heart more than any speech. This is people wanting to improve, wanting to do the homework together, so we all understand that individual stars make a galaxy, that flowers make a garden. Togetherness draws us in like a magnet. Togetherness helps to win the fighting. For all we are is brilliant links in a chain, feeling the power of many voices. Thank you.
Many thanks, Pina. What incredible creativity we have on our side when we have such beautiful poetry as recited like this, and the one earlier from Colin from the FBU. Okay, I just want to thank everyone for coming here today, braving the elements, and absolutely fantastic. We've had thousands of people who have attended today. I just want to say 2 things. One is we need to keep up our fight against the PA. Every Sunday, anti-racist and anti-fascists will be assembling in Erskine to show that we are the majority and they are nothing. So please make sure that you go down to Erskine for that, or up to Erskine I should say, from here. Secondly, I just want to echo and reiterate the call that Amma made earlier on today, that when the Shekubaya inquiry ends, whatever the result, we want to ensure that there will be a large demonstration as big as the one today for that event to show our continued solidarity to Sheku Fire. Okay, so thank you all, and well done everyone for coming here. Get involved and stand up to racism. Solidarity is our watchword and our slogan. These are our streets, our communities. We will continue to fight for them, and we will say all who wish to come and live with us are welcome here. The only place that there's nothing for are the bunch of racists and scummy fascists. Thank you very much, everyone. Bye.
Sorry?
How much longer do we kick on for?